Hello and welcome to another video here at Hobbies and Happiness. My name's Dan.
And I'm Jim, and today we're going over the latest expansion for Marvel Champions, Mutant Genesis.
All right, you got it that time.
We got it.
That's it's a mouthful. The Mutant even pronouncing it the right way is it's kind of a mouthful. Yeah. But anyway, we're excited. We finally got Mutant Genesis. No Daredevil yet. No Daredevil yet. But that's okay. That's okay. The fact that we finally have X-Men is enough. Mm-hmm. And honestly, guys, these cards look so sick. All right, so since this is a big box expansion, we're gonna be doing this preview a little bit differently, right? So we have a couple of new heroes that we want to talk about. We'll get into the aspect cards, and then we will kind of go through the storyline a little bit of what was discussed in the preview article. So again, if you have not yet seen that article, which if you're here, you've probably seen it, but we do have it linked in the description. So head down to the description to head on over to Fantasy Flight's website to see the announcement article. It's a pretty great article, and they go through each and every card. So if you want to see every card that they previewed and they showed off, head to the article and then you can see it in its glory. We will do our best. We're not going to go through every single card here because if we did, we'd be here for a while. So we kind of want to just touch on the different parts of the box and then kind of talk about some of our favorites. So without further ado, let's jump in and we're going to talk about the first hero, Colossus.
Yes.
Colossus looks so
this guy's
cool.
So good.
So we'll read over the alter ego and the identity and the hero. Jim, why don't you read the alter ego side?
Yeah, sure. If I could pronounce that first name.
Peter.
His name is Peter?
Yeah.
Let's
Peter.
say, all right.
It's basically Peter.
Peter Rasputin.
Yep.
All right. He is 4 recovery. Mm-hmm. He has a hand size of 6, HP of 14. He has a setup ability. Search your deck for a copy of Organic Steel and add it to your hand. He also has a responsibility. After you change to this form, shuffle a Colossus card from your discard back into the deck.
That's every time you change to that form.
That's such a good
That's
ability.
so good. That is, we were looking at all these other cards for him, and we're like, oh, this card is so good, this card is so good, this is so cool, and we're like, dude, we're not even talking about his ability that's literally stapled to him.
Yeah,
it's so good. It is it makes me so happy. It's like such a cool card. Now, one thing we didn't even touch on, his hit points is 14.
Yeah.
So in the SPDR, the Unshakable upgrade, where it requires 2 negative status cards for them to be affected. Mm-hmm. So like for Stun and Confuse, they need 2 of those status cards to be affected because his printed HP is 14. So that's good. That's pretty good.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's pretty big. So, all right. Now, we'll talk about the hero side. So the hero side is Colossus. 1 Thwart, 2 attack, and 2 defense. He is an X-Men hero. Says Colossus can have 1 additional tough status card. And then has the ability Steel Skin Response. After you change to this form, give Colossus a tough status card. Has a hand size of 14 and a hit points of 14. So
hand size of 4.
Did I say 14?
Yeah, you did.
I did. Hand size 4, hit points 14. There we go. Thank you. So both of these sides do something when you flip.
Yep.
And so honestly, I have a feeling Colossus is going to be really played. He's going to be played a lot because, guys, this ability is just, it's so good. You get value on both sides just for flipping. Reminds me of Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk. Every time you flip to hero form,
she's one of my
ping
favorites.
For 2, so good. Man, it's so good. So there's a few cards here. So we've got, I'll kind of run through some of them real quick. Got like cards like Steel Fist for attacking. But you know what? Let's touch on first Organic Steel.
Yeah.
That setup card. These setup cards, you guys, cannot be overstated.
Yeah.
Hand size of 6 for the alter ego, but your starting hand is 7 cards because you have that added card. Really good. So Organic Steel is a 2-cost upgrade superpower. Has 2 uses, steel counters, and says hero response. After a tough status card is discarded from Colossus, you can exhaust this upgrade and remove a steel counter from it. give Colossus a tough status card. So essentially just replacing it.
Yep.
And Colossus, as you'll find, is all about using those tough status cards as resources, essentially. And so just for the fact of Organic Steel being able to immediately put them back, so good.
Yeah.
So Organic Steel is definitely one of the best cards in his deck. Jim, what's a card that's getting you excited?
Okay, we're just gonna go to it. It's one of my favorite things to do in the entire game. The card is called Bulletproof Protector.
Yeah.
All right. So it is a hero action. Discard a tough status card from your hero and choose one of two abilities. You can either give your hero two tough status cards, or ready your hero. Guys, I'm not saying like I want to pump up his attack a whole bunch, swing in, re-stand him up, swing in again. Oh, okay. Sign me up.
Yeah, so Bulletproof Protector is is great because of the versatility. Yeah. So if you discard it just to be able to then re-put it back on with Organic Steel, I mean, you already know what you're going to do with it. You're mostly doing it just to restand. You've got that, but then the ability to turn one tough status card into two, you don't even touch on the best part of that card. It costs 0. It's free. It's a free. Now we did say we did say like he's utilizing those tough status cards as resources, and this is a perfect example of that. And then kind of one of my favorites that was spoiled is Titanium Muscles. Okay, it's a 2-cost upgrade, superpower. Colossus gets +1 attack, turning him from 2 attack to 3 attack. Really good. But then it has Hero Resource. Exhaust this card, generate a physical resource for each tough status card on Colossus.
So I actually wrote a little note on the side. I'm like, Dan's gonna love this card. Like I instantly knew.
It's literally the note right there. Dan will love these.
Yeah.
The other one that he said I would love is it's Iron Will. It pumps up Colossus Thort by 1, but then has response after a tough status card is discarded from Colossus, draw a card.
So once you already use that tough status card as a resource for getting one of your other abilities, well, now you get to draw a card on top of that.
Yeah. So that's really great. But another good one is Armor Up, 0-cost event. Alter Ego Interrupt. When the villain activates, change to hero form.
Yes.
So you flip, he activates, you have that response after you change to form and give it a tough status card. It's just
instant speed.
It's so good. It's so cool. Colossus is getting me really excited. So there's 2 other cards. You've got Made of Rage is okay. It's a 0-cost event, superpower. When you make a basic attack, you discard a tough status card from your hero, but you get +6 for that attack, and then it gains overkill.
It's a lot of damage output, but sometimes you don't really want to get that damage output over being defensive and just keeping that tough status.
Yeah. And then the last one that they spoiled was Steel Fist. It's a 2-cost event. It's an attack, superpower, hero action attack. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. You may discard a tough status card from your hero, stun, and confuse that enemy. So that's pretty good. It's not bad.
I guess like bare minimum, this is just 2 mana, deal 5 damage.
Yeah.
Because then it's a may continue with it.
Yeah. So
still good card.
A lot of the times what we were doing with a lot of these cards, honestly, was just comparing the cost, what you're putting into what you get out as far as damage output. So we're like, so in this case, 2 costs for 5 is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then 0 cost for adding 6 attack is pretty good.
Yeah. But the thing is, you need to have the tough token.
Right. I'm sorry. So it's 0 cost plus a tough status card.
Yeah.
So
And if it was 6 attack for the turn, it would be broken.
Yes.
But they made sure that it's only for that one attack.
That one attack.
Yeah.
Right. So, pretty good. So, I mean, that could bump you up to 9 potential. I mean, or bump you even further depending on what other upgrades you have. So, it can be good. But yeah, Colossus, guys. Colossus is sweet. I really love Colossus. And then the next hero that we've got here, is Kitty Pryde.
Yay.
Kitty Pryde Shadow Cat. So I feel like Colossus was very, very straightforward.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. But also very what's the word I'm looking for? Straightforward, but also there were ways around and so many combos that you could do. Yeah. Straightforward, but the lines are going to be there's going to be a lot of lines you got to think through, right? Kitty Pryde is very much not that. She is very versatile. Very versatile, very situational. So why don't you read the alter ego side?
For sure. Kitty Pryde, she has 3 recovery. She has a hand size of 6 and HP pool of 9. She has setup. Put your mass form upgrade into play, solid side face up. Then she has phase control, action, flip your mass form upgrade. So you can flip it from solid to the phase side.
Yeah, so let's talk about that right now. So her mass form upgrade is very similar to Vision's, okay? So very similar to Vision. So it's double-sided. One side is phased. It's an upgrade and says mass form permanent. So it's always out on board. It says while Shadowcat is defending, she cannot take damage. So when in phase form, cannot take damage. Pretty good. But then also says forced response. After you attack or defend in phased form, flip this card. So most likely you're never going to want to be attack. Well, it depends. I was going to say you may never want to be attacking in phased form. But let's look at the other side, solid. And because I was saying that is because in your defending, you're not taking damage, right? But her solid side, so solid, mass form, permanent, hero resource. Exhaust this card, generate a physical resource for an attack or defense event. Then it says response after you attack or defend in solid form, flip. So phase form, you are not taking any damage on defense.
Yeah, very strong.
But then the solid form is you can exhaust it and then generate a resource for an attack or defense. So both sides are pretty good. I mean, definitely the not being able to not take damage. So maybe the better thing to do would be attack while in phased form. That I'm sorry, in solid form. Exhaust it to generate resources, and then flip it on the attack. That way, when you go into the villain phase, you're in phased form. So that way you can defend and not take damage.
So also the thing about these cards, you're able to like go back to phased, I believe, or solid twice in a turn, I believe.
Yeah, so you can only take the action of flipping your mass form upgrade once.
Oh.
Right? Because it says once per round. But
that's from phase control. I wasn't even talking about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From phase control.
Okay.
But if you play other cards that flip it for you, you can do that as well.
Yeah, so it would just be like an event attack.
Right.
Because it's any attack or defense.
Correct. So if you play a hero an attack card, that flips it. And then if you do your basic attack, that flips it. And then you can take the action from her alter ego or her other side. Yeah. But you can actually only do that in alter ego side. Let's look at the hero side now. Yeah. So Shadowcat, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. X-Men hero, selective intangibility. While you are in phased mass form, Shadowcat ignores guard and patrol keywords and any crisis icons in play.
Yep.
Like we said, very situational. Very situational, very versatile, but very situational, okay? So when you're in Shadowcat, when you're in hero form, you don't have that action of flipping your mass upgrade form, okay? So I'm guys, I'm telling you right now, the lines for Shadowcat, they're gonna be very different. I'm just gonna say difficult to think through because there's gonna be a lot of things. It's gonna your plays are gonna change every second of every turn.
You're gonna be like, "What's out on the board?" Okay. Oh, something brand new happened. All right, I gotta change it up.
You did an action that I didn't think you were gonna do. Okay, this totally changes up my game plan now. Yeah. This is gonna be crazy. So, like a lot of her cards. We'll do like there's 2 cards. You have acute control and intangible interference. So those are both 1-cost upgrades. Have a hero response. Like intangible interference is after you ignore crisis on a scheme, you can exhaust this, remove 2 threat from that scheme.
Which is strong.
Strong.
But if there's not a crisis icon
on a side scheme in play,
then it does nothing.
Right.
You can't even tap it to then remove stuff.
Right.
It's just nothing.
I feel like Kitty Pryde was built specifically for this campaign box. Yeah. very specifically for. And honestly, there's gonna be other scenarios in play where you need a hero like Kitty Pryde to be able to get around this stuff. And so I think she's gonna be popular for those more difficult situations for sure. And then again, acute control, same thing for units and minions, where it says after you ignore guard or patrol keyword on a minion, you can exhaust this upgrade, deal 2 damage to that minion. So strong, but again, you have to have a minion in play that has guard or patrol. And honestly, there's a lot of minions that have that. So I feel like and same thing with the side schemes, but still, it's very dependent on board state. So I would much prefer cards that I know are going to be useful in every single situation. But I also know that there are going to be situations where we need actions and stuff like that. For certain.
So probably my favorite card for Kitty Pryde would be Shadowcat Surprise. Which I was actually just thinking about this card in a little combo or a line that we could do, which I'm going to go over in a second. So it is 2 cost event. Hero action attack. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Ready your hero.
Surprise! Jim picked the card that says "Ready Your Hero."
Ready your hero. Like, it's probably my favorite thing to do in this game.
Right.
So, so the idea that I was having with this, right? So you could be in shadow or in your hero form. Be in phased mass form, whatever we want to call it.
Phased mass form.
So then you can attack with her. Phase then goes back to solid. Okay. You can tap solid to pay for the 1. And then discard another card for Shadowcat Surprise, which is 2 cost, except solid pays for 1 of it. And now
I don't know if you can do that. I do not know if you can do that because at the time you play Shadowcat Surprise. So you play Shadowcat Surprise, you have to pay for it as soon as you play it. Right. So since you are in phased form, so
we're already attacking.
No. When you play the card, you have to pay for it as soon as you play it. Right.
Yes.
So as soon as you play that card, you said you're in phased form.
So but we're swinging with Shadowcat, and in phased form says after you attack or defend, swap this to solid.
I'm sorry. So hang on. Let me make sure I get this line right. So the line is you're in phased form with Shadowcat. Basic attack first. Oh, okay.
Because then we're going to restand with this card.
Oh, okay. Understood. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I thought you were saying you're in... I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah, no, you're good. You're right.
So then
you're right,
solid... So then we're going to solid. We're going to tap that to pay for 1 and then get another resource, whatever
and then
way.
Go back to phase.
And then we could go back into phase form, which then I guess at that point you could... Maybe you flip it
again, depending on
like that's the thing. It's all the lines,
so right?
Because then you could attack again.
The versatility, right? Right. No, that's a perfect line. That's pretty good.
Well, then after your turn, you then restand going into the...
you restand anyway.
Okay.
But again, if you attack, then you're swapping to solid.
Yeah, you then go back to solid, and then if you have the quick shift, which a really good card. Makes
quick
it
shift,
to where
that was going to be the next one I talked about anyway.
So going into Dan's card, quick shift. It is a 0 cost event. Hero interrupt defense. When an enemy attacks, if you are in solid mass form, change to phased.
That's so
and then
good.
if you're in phase, you can draw 2 cards. So after we're in phase, we attack with the Shadowcat, go into solid form. Play the Shadowcat Surprise, restanding. We already attacked, so now solid goes back to phased, right? We can then now attack, go back to solid. So then at the end of the turn,
this is so convoluted.
At the end of your turn,
so cool.
You restand going into the villain's phase, and you're still in solid. So then you could play the quick shift going into phased form, defend, take no damage.
Did you catch that? Dude, no, but seriously, like
it's complicated.
You're right. It is. But Kitty Pryde is like a combo player's dream. It really is. Because we've talked about combo potential before within Marvel Champions, but Combo potential with Kitty Pryde is literally going to be off the charts because the combos literally are going to shift every second through the game. It's just the lines are going to be so crazy.
Yeah.
Quick shift is one of my favorites.
On top of it, you're also ignoring all crisis, guard, patrol.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
It doesn't matter.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. So good. So good. And then she's got another card. It's called Phase and Confused. It's a 3-cost
Great
upgrade.
name. If anyone's a fan of Dazed and Confused, whether it's the song or the movie.
So it's a condition. It says hero form only, attached to an enemy, max 1 per enemy. When attached enemy would attack, discard this card instead, then confuse that enemy.
Yeah.
So very similar to Webbed Up.
Yeah.
But from an attacking perspective, right? So you attack, no you don't. You're just discarding this card, and now we're replacing it with a confused status.
It's essentially a stun, but then they're also then confused after they try to attack.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So very, very strong. So those are the 2 heroes that are announced in this box. At the end of the video, we're going to talk about a special surprise that was at the end of the article. We're not going through the article like from top to bottom, but we wanted to talk about these heroes first.
It's a surprise, even though it really wasn't in the article, and like I didn't even know.
We'll get through
it. We'll get through it.
You know what we're talking about. But we'll get into it. All right, so now we're going to talk about the aspect cards. All right, so Colossus comes pre-built as you would expect as a protection build. Kitty Pryde comes built as an aggression.
Not surprised.
Really?
Kind of.
I mean, if you know, I guess if you know the heroes, then it wouldn't make sense. Okay, so there's we'll talk about protection cards first. We'll get into some aggression, and then the allies that were spoiled. So protection cards. I mean, Jim, just talk about the best one. Just talk about it.
of protection, correct?
Yes,
all right.
protection. Yes.
Perseverance.
Absolutely.
Guys, this card is so bonkers.
It is.
Okay. It is
It's just so good.
Okay. It is a 1-cost event hero response. After you change form, give your hero the tough status card.
So this is just a great card. It is just such a good card for one.
Yeah.
But it's busted when you put it in Colossus.
Yeah.
I mean, changed my mind.
He can already have 1 additional tough token on him. And then it then makes it to where the cards that are like, oh, it's free, but you got to get rid of a tough status card. I normally wouldn't want to get rid of those, but now I'm just like, all right, well, now I don't care because I just have more ways of getting tough status on him.
One of my favorite things about this card is because, like, Colossus, I love Colossus. Yeah. I love the way that they've designed him. And now with Perseverance, I can put that on any hero that I want. Yeah. Right? Putting that card in any protection build is so good. It's so good. So Perseverance, an all-star card, change our minds for sure. And then the other one, so you'll see throughout all these cards, there's an X-Men theme, right? Yep. Very much an X-Men theme. Whereas the Sinister Motives set, you saw all these cards built around the Spider-Man, the Web Warriors, right? Yep. This cycle is going to be all about X-Men. I'm okay with. And honestly, the more tribal cards out there, the better. Like I enjoy tribal decks. I enjoy building around a tribe. And so now the fact that we have X-Men is great. Just another additional tribe to build around. So I'm all for it, but it kind of limits the uses for these other cards. So
that's why I'm a huge fan of this one.
Yes.
Because it doesn't limit.
Correct. So I mean, you've got Mutant Protectors, a 1-cost event. Play only if your identity has X-Men. Polaris response after Polaris enters play. Give an X-Men character a tough status card. Again, good effects. Protective training attached to an X-Men ally. Max 1 training upgrade per ally. These are all good. They're all good effects. Yep. But the fact that they're just limited to X-Men, like if you're building in an X-Men shell, okay, good, use it. The other one is it's okay. It's pretty good. Powerful punch. It's okay, pretty good. Which one is it, Dan? Okay, or pretty good?
I think it's powerful.
It's a 2-cost event, attack, defense. Hero interrupts, attack, defense. When an enemy initiates an attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. So 2 for 4, but you're not playing that during your turn, right? Because you're playing that on defense, right? So powerful punch is pretty good.
Which you could say is kind of worse because you're drawing after you've already done your turn. And now you're doing this on your, so now you're 1 card shorter into your turn.
And that's how a lot of the defense cards work, right? Is yes, I'm playing it now, then I just won't have access to it on my turn, right? But again, if you have cards where you can just draw cards, you know, okay, that's okay. So, all right, Jim, I want you to talk about the best aggression card.
Oh yeah, not a problem. Let me just go to the next.
No, not that one yet.
Oh, not the best one.
Not the best, the other best aspects. We're not talking about the allies.
Okay, all right.
We're not talking about the allies yet.
Okay, so I don't know if ours is the same. I think it is. I think it's like one of these two, correct? Yeah. Okay, I just needed to make sure. It's Team Strike.
Yep.
It is a 1-cost event. Play only if your identity has X-Men trait.
Which again, like we just talked about, very limited, but
very powerful.
Very powerful.
It's hero action attack. Exhaust your hero and any number of X-Men allies. Deal X damage among enemies in play, where X is the total of attack of the characters you've exhausted this way.
One of the best things I like about this, okay, is you can distribute the damage however you want. So you're not wasting your attack.
Rather than someone dealing 3 damage to one with 1 HP
or 2, right?
Or 2, and that one kind of gets, thrown off to the side. And now it's just like, all right, well, I'm going to tap for 9 attack and be like, all right, 2 here, 1 here, boom, boom. So
but the best part of this card, no consequential damage.
No consequential damage. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. That's such a great.
Because you're exhausting them to this effect. They're not attacking, even though they kind of are, but they're not.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on to the literal best card here. The other aggression cards are good. Like Gatekeeper's okay. Like I do like it, but
Dan likes this card more than I do.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not a fan.
And I'm cautiously optimistic, we'll say. It's a 0-cost upgrade, Gatekeeper, attached to a minion condition. Attached minion gets +2 hit points and gains patrol. When attached minion is defeated, remove 4 threat from the main scheme.
Yeah.
Again, very situational.
Yeah.
I will say it's very situational, right? So, like, if this cost any more than 0, it'd be a bad card.
It'd be a bad card.
It'd be a bad card.
And I already think at 0, it's a bad card.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah. I like the effect. I like what happens when you defeat the minion.
Yeah.
But like, at what cost though?
So for me, why I'm saying it's a bad card is, it's 0 mana, so you're not putting in any resources, but you have to get rid of other things you can do in your turn. So whether it's you're swinging with your character rather than going face to get rid of it, or you now have to kill it with either 1 or 2 other cards that will now have a cost to them, I just don't care about this card.
Like there can be situations where it's really good. Like if there's conditions that are like, oh man, this is gonna happen if I defeat a minion, or
if there was a card that said like 2 cost, get rid of 4 threat from the main scheme, or from any scheme, whatever it is, from the main scheme, I'd be like, I would just prefer to play that, even though it costs 2 essence, whatever it's called, 2 resources. I keep wanting to call it mana, Dan.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Even though it has
we get it.
a 2 mana cost, I would still prefer to pay that rather than, all right, now give them 2 extra HP, the patrol, and I now have to kill it with something else.
Yeah.
Even if it was 2 mana, get rid of 3 threat. I think that is better than what this is.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I get it. I understand. And then you've got magic. After you play magic from your hand, choose an ally. You can spend a mental resource, choose a non-elite minion engaged with an X-Men hero, shuffle that minion into the counter deck. Again, you need an X-Men.
Yeah.
Attack training is good. Attached to an X-Men ally, max 1 training upgrade per ally, but the attached ally gets +1 attack and +2 hit points.
But it's an ally.
It's all right. I mean, who would you pair that up with?
You know, if I had to pick, I would probably go to the next page and put it with Professor X, because he doesn't have an attack, Dan. And we should make it to where he can physically go punch someone. Which would be hilarious, honestly. It would be.
No, no, he would make them punch themselves. Is what it would be.
All right, true. All right, the real card is Wolverine.
Yeah.
Guys, Wolverine he's a beast, okay? He's 4 cost.
He's a beast, bub.
He's 4 cost, an ally, 1 thwart with 1 consequential, 3 attack with 2 consequential, but there's a few other things for him. He's got 4 HP, and then when he does attack, he gains piercing.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of Dan's favorite parts. This one right here is my favorite part. Response.
No, but hang on. Piercing is so good though.
I get it.
I mean, being able to just get rid of a tough status token before you attack.
True.
And all of them. So if you're facing
damage.
Armadillo and he can have any number of tough status cards, bye. We're gonna get rid of all of them.
True.
That's good. But the real.
Then there's a response. After your turn begins, heal 1 damage from Wolverine.
Yeah. So good. The best card.
It's hands down the best card. If it was colorless, it would be the best card in the entire game.
Oh, yes.
It would be the best card in the entire game.
Absolutely.
But since it's in red, and I already love red, he's going in literally every deck.
Yep.
He has to.
Yes, he costs 4, but you make room for it.
So now with the attack training, okay.
Yes.
He's an X-Men ally. We give him +1 attack to go to 4 attack, and then 2 HP on top of that, 6 HP.
Oh my goodness.
Sign me up.
You don't even have to attack with him. Just only use that attack when you need to.
Yeah.
And then just use it as a defender.
Yeah. Use it as a defender every single turn, not really having to worry about him dying. And then you could even thwart if you need to.
Yeah.
Because he literally can't die if you just thwart.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then so real quick, Professor X, basically it's another Nick Fury.
Yeah.
He has 3 thwart with 1 consequential, 0 attack. 0 attack, but with 1 consequential damage. 3
they had
health.
to put it on there in case some idiot was like, we're going to give him attack train. I'm not talking about anyone out there. I'm talking about myself, okay?
And then he has Force Response. After Professor X enters play, choose 1. Confuse the villain, stun a minion, or ready an X-Men character. At the end of the round, if Professor X is still in play, discard him. Yeah. So another similar effect to Nick Fury. But you know what's funny? Is all of the best aspect cards have Wolverine as the artwork.
Yeah, they do. It's crazy. The Team Strike, the Perseverance, and Wolverine himself.
It's just not an attack training, but attack training is good, but we don't think it's one of the better cards.
I really only think it's good if you have Wolverine, because it's very difficult to get rid of Wolverine at that point.
Yeah.
He's healing himself. You don't have to worry about like, oh, I swing 3 times and my card's gone.
Yeah, right.
So.
Right. All right, so now what we're going to want to do is we're kind of going to just go through what they talked about in the campaign, the campaign, what's going on in the campaign. If you want to read the article, I would suggest reading through the article, but we're going to touch on these cards a little bit and then kind of just go through the story here a little bit. So the way it starts out is you have Sabretooth is trying to find Senator Robert Kelly, and yeah, he just, you know what he's trying to do. Right. So Sabretooth as a villain. So we were going through these and we're like, okay, this is terrible. Sabretooth is 1 scheme with a star scheme, 2-star attack. Force response. After Sabretooth activates against you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Heal damage from Sabretooth equal to the number of boost icons discarded this way. Discarding from the encounter deck is going to be a theme throughout this campaign.
Terrible. I hate it so much.
So it's not... It doesn't say whether it just attacks or just schemes when it activates.
Yeah.
So Active. So in a 2-player game, you're discarding the top 2 cards from the deck, and then he's healing whatever that is, right? And then it's so bad. It's so bad.
You need good, consistent damage against Wolverine.
So
because otherwise he's just gonna out heal you.
Which is probably why they put this environment in there. This is protect the center and environment. Submission says Robert Kelly cannot be healed by player card effects and cannot have upgrades attached. Hero response: after a hero defends against an attack from Sabretooth, spend 2 resources of any type. Ready your hero. Only the player who controls Robert Kelly can trigger this ability. Okay, so Robert Kelly is a permanent, is essentially a permanent card that will pass between first player. So Robert Kelly, 0 cost ally, 9 health. First player controls Robert Kelly. He does not count against your ally limit and cannot have player cards attached. States force interrupt: when an enemy resolves an undefended attack against you, deal that damage to Robert Kelly. So you are trying to protect Robert Kelly at all costs. And so that's basically what you're trying to do through this scenario, is just stop Sabretooth from capturing Robert Kelly. So you can look at there's the main scheme stalked by Sabretooth. So that's Sabretooth's main scheme. And then there's the side scheme of find the senator. So once you successfully save the senator, you then move on to the sentinels. There's like 3 different modular sets with sentinels. The first one is Project Wide Awake with the sentinels and the abduction protocols. So the sentinels are trying to capture all of the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
And the abduction protocol side scheme, I believe that is the side scheme where you can begin rescuing the other X-Men. So they show off Cannonball and Boom Boom. They are captives that you can rescue from the Sentinels.
Do we know what Hinder and Victory is?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Dan will tell me. Maybe right now.
All right, so abduction protocols, yeah, it's got the Hinder 2 per player, which I hate Hinder. It's so bad.
Yeah,
and then
it's rough.
and then the Victory 2. So once you go through this is the first modular set with the Sentinels. Then you move on to it's called Zero Tolerance, where again you now have Sentinel Mark II as your villain. Then once you go through that, Operation Zero Tolerance, you find the final Sentinel, Master Mold. Okay. Again, we're not going to go through each and every one of these cards. You can go to the article because there's just so much, guys. And honestly, like, it's just better to just like play through it, right?
Yeah.
Honestly. And then after that, you've got the Mansion Attack. So you have Avalanche, Blob, Pyro, and Toad coming to destroy the Professor X's mansion, right?
Pyro looks sick.
Pyro does look pretty cool. Toad was actually one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, growing up, I was a big fan of Toad. And then, God, I don't.
This is the only one I really want to talk about. Like very little though.
Magneto.
This one is rough.
Magneto is so rough, guys. So Magneto, the final big baddie, right? Makes sense. Makes sense that it's Magneto, right?
Yeah.
2 scheme, 2 attack with a star. Steady, all right, which is not good. Steady on the villain is not good. Two negative. He needs 2 negative status cards to be affected.
And he's tough.
Through stun and confuse. Okay, and he comes in with toughness.
Yeah.
Forced response. After Magneto attacks you, you place 1 magnet counter on the main scheme. What's a magnet counter, Jim?
Oh, magnet. Well, 1 magnet counters nothing. Maybe 2. No. All right. On the main scheme, force response. After you place a magnet counter on the scheme, if there is at least 3, discard cards from the encounter deck until a magnet card is discarded. Reveal that card, then remove 3 magnet counters from the scheme. It's not the magnet cards that are a problem.
Magnetic cards.
Yeah, my bad. Magnet counters, magnetic cards. It's not those cards that are really a problem.
Which they're not great. They're I don't like them.
Yeah.
You don't like them.
Yeah, it's not like they're super easy to get rid of.
Right.
And they are a little rough. But it's the fact that you can mill a third or 50% of the deck to then get closer to the acceleration marker on the main scheme. That's the terrible part.
Now, the only good thing about Magneto is it's not like Sabretooth, where it's when it activates against you, it is just on attack.
Yeah.
So you can mitigate that a little bit.
True.
You can mitigate it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like when it does.
But now let's think about all three of is it only 3 magnetic cards? I guess that we know of.
That they've shown off.
Okay.
I mean, Magneto, as it says,
more.
is 30 cards.
True.
In his.
All right, so it's probably more. All right, so it's not going to be as bad as I would think. I was thinking there was only like 3, so I'm like, what if all 3 are in the discard and now you got to go through the entire deck and then reshuffle? Put it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. That just. It's not. Oh, it's so bad. Like it's cool. I'm not gonna lie. The design is very cool. I really like the design, but I'm not gonna want to be on the.
We don't want to see this
of it.
Steady and toughness.
I do not. We do not.
It's
so,
rough.
all right, guys. Well, that's the announcement article. Go through all the cards, kind of come to your own conclusions, but those are kind of the ones that we just wanted to highlight. These kind of reveals are kind of a little more difficult to talk about just because there's so many cards. There's a lot for this format, for this type of video, right? But kind of the big thing that they talked about at the end of the article, they announced, which they basically announced it, that on release, it comes with Colossus and Kitty Pryde in the box, but alongside the release, they are also releasing 2 additional hero packs with the main campaign expansion. So for this cycle, there's going to be 6 additional hero packs that are released. These 2 additional ones that are being released alongside it, and then the 4 others like normal. Okay. And they show the silhouette, and I looked at the silhouette and I'm like, oh, dude, that's so cool. It's Jean Grey and Cyclops. Awesome. And they've done in the past where they've done the silhouettes. But literally, guys, in the article, here's what the paragraph says. As with every Marvel Champions expansion, Mutant Genesis heralds the beginning of a new wave of hero packs. However, this time around, there will be 6 hero packs instead of 4. On top of that, the first 2 of those heroes, Cyclops and Phoenix, were released on the same day as Mutant Genesis. So I read that, and then I see the silhouette, and I'm like, if you announce who it is, why are you just showing a silhouette? I don't get it. Because normally what they did before was that they tried keeping you guessing.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's really easy to guess the Cyclops, though. He literally has a freaking laser beam coming out of his eye.
He's doing this, right? Yeah. And then I figured the other one was Jean Grey. But I looked at it, I'm like, it's either Jean Grey or it's Rogue. Right? But you saw the hand come out, so I'm like, that's probably Jean Grey / Phoenix. But I sent this to Jim on Discord, and what did you say?
Mind you, I didn't really read the article. I just saw the photo.
I'm like, saw the photo, quick scan.
I was like, oh, cool, Cyclops. And I was like, oh, is that Rogue? Because again, the hair is really what made me think it was Rogue.
Right.
And so he's like, and then he sends it to me. He's like, Phoenix, Cyclops. It says it in the article. I go look. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. What's the point?
I'm like, it literally says it in the paragraph right above it, dude.
Yeah. I'm like, why? Why?
All right. So all right, guys. So that is Mutant Genesis. What hero do you want to see? What X-Men hero do you want to see?
Ooh.
Them put in.
Deadpool?
Yeah, that I've heard Deadpool, yeah.
Does that count?
I mean, it's a Marvel hero.
Is it an X-Men hero?
I mean, at some point, I'm sure Deadpool was on X-Men.
He had X-Men in his movie.
Yeah,
it counts.
He did. But is that one that you'd really like to see?
I think it would be cool to see.
Yeah,
Deadpool.
I'd be interested to see how they did that.
I would really like to see his flavor text as well. I guess kind of like the Porky Pig one.
Yeah,
Peter Porker.
Yeah. Peter Porker. Yeah. I would love to see Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler was one of my favorite X-Men.
Yeah. Same.
I love and Gambit. Those are my 2 that I love to see. I mean, Hunter. There's no way they're not doing Gambit.
If they don't make Gambit aggressive,
but if they don't do Gambit at all, then that's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, do Gambit and Rogue together.
But the thing, yes, Gambit and Rogue that'd be sick. Yes, but I mean, it's a card game. Yeah. You need Gambit.
Yeah,
you need Gambit. Period.
Honestly, why hasn't he already been released? is the real question.
Well, he's on the X-Men team.
Yeah.
That's why. So now that they're doing X-Men, I think is when we're going to see Gambit. So, who do you want to see? Who do you guys want to see? I'm very interested to see. We did have someone comment that they'd like to see Deadpool as well. Yeah. So very interested. Let us know. Let us know down below in the comments who you want to see, or did you just want to see Cyclops or Jean Grey / Phoenix? Let us know. Do you think they'll do Professor X?
I don't know.
Probably not. They probably won't.
Yeah.
Like, how could they do that? Because he's not attacking.
He's not attacking, no.
Right?
I don't know. What would his defense be?
There's so many jokes we go with that. We're gonna end that right here.
All right,
guys.
we're gonna end it.
We're gonna end it. Thanks everybody for being here. Let us know who you want to see, and yeah, guys, we'll see you in the next video. All right, see you, everybody.
Take care.